Hello, one and all. Welcome back to day 2 of Intuition and Oracle, a guide to developing balance and intuition within your Oracle card readings. So, yesterday, as a little recap, we really started with understanding the balance between the masculine and the feminine, especially with your intuition and receptivity, and how it applies to your oracle readings. And the most important thing is we set up the ritual, the understanding of the space needed to carve out in order for you to start these readings. So you're protected, you're grounded, your masculine brain is absolutely and completely engaged, turned on, totally understand, switched on, and totally understanding about what it needs to do, which is just to be, honestly, a witness when it comes to oracle readings. So if you skipped ahead to day 2, I would really appreciate you going back to day 1 and really getting an idea. The setup is so important. Once you get into it, it'll become second nature very, very quickly, but it's very important. Now, I did set up a new candle because the candle that I made yesterday was a small candle, so it burnt out. So I actually used a black candle to expel negativity and protect us. But again, as we went through yesterday, the candle that you use, the color, the scent, the sentiment behind it, that's all completely up to you. I just happen to be using a black candle today because I always see it as a sign of protection and of beauty, and really of just eliminating negative vibes in any way, shape, or form, and that's what we want. So I set up our little circle today, and I include you in this circle too. We've got our masculine and feminine energies here, and we are all protected. So let's go right in to our day 2, which is going to be really fun, getting to know the cards and your intuition. So working with the oracle deck, yesterday I asked you not necessarily to buy a new one, but to choose an oracle deck to work with, and the oracle deck as simple as you can get, because that's going to help for our purposes. But it's not, again, I always say, everything I say to you is a suggestion. Please always go with your intuition. So whatever oracle deck you chose to work with will be exactly the right one for you. I do not doubt it. So today what we're going to do, you've set up everything. So you know how to set everything up to set up your space to go forward to do an accurate and beautiful intuitive reading. So we're just going to give just a minute now. I don't want you to go through the whole thing or go get a candle or anything like that. But I just want you to breathe into your space and send out some white light, ground into your energy, ground into your protection, call in your guides now as you have your oracle deck in front of you. And if you don't have your oracle deck in front of you, please go ahead and get it, even if you have to go off and pause the video. Bring the entire thing as it came to you. The box, the booklet, everything. We need everything today. So the one thing that I want you to do when you first start looking and first start working with the oracle is it is important to look through the booklet, I believe. And here's the reason why. We're not actually going to be working with the booklet at all, because why would you be doing a course if all you did is readings from the booklet? That's not what we're doing. But there was a specific energy that is and around the creativity and the creation of the oracle deck that you're working with. More often than not, there is an illustrator and there is somebody that actually works on the oracle messages part, right? And they usually work in tandem to bring you what you have in your hand currently. So it's important to get behind and respect the energy of the cards, because usually we're drawn to oracle cards. So we're usually drawn to the energy of the people that have created them. So you're just melding your energy with that creative process of the people that bought you the cards. And that will give you a solid foundation for you to move on and then create sort of your own version of what these cards mean for you and for other people when you start reading for them. And yes, you will in the course. It's happening very soon, but we're going to get you sorted in this way. So it's really important for you to not only look through your oracle cards and look at every single one of them. But do readings for yourself initially, like 3 or 4 card readings, and read from the book each time. Now, if you decide just to look through every single one of these cards and then quickly read through the booklet, that's fine. Or if you decide to keep giving yourself just small little readings and then looking at the book, at the explanations of each card, and then sometimes I do that, and then when I realize that I'm getting the same cards, I'll seek out the cards that I haven't actually picked for myself yet, and then I'll read them. The most important thing is that your energy is on each and every single physical card, and you have absorbed the meaning of the original text that it came with. So you now have the energy and the respect of the people that created the cards. And I think for me, that's important. It's important to have a firm foundation of something before you completely leave it and before you completely just say, I'm going to do my own thing. So however you get to know the oracle cards and the explanations, how they were given to you without your intuition infused into it, is completely up to you. But get to know them. So that's the first thing that I want you to do for today's class. And then once you've done that, I want you to literally put this aside, like the oracle, not the deck. I want you to put the explanations aside. And every time you pick up this oracle deck and the cards now, I want you to not even have the booklet near you. Not even have the booklet near you. You've taken in that information. You no longer need it. This is you and the oracle cards now. So the first thing that I want you to do is to really shuffle through them. It's really important to get all of your energy onto these cards. Now we talked about yesterday with smudging or using sage to cleanse your space to start off with. There's many different ways to do this. You can always sage your cards at the beginning or at the end of a session. A lot of people say that if you use, especially with tarot cards, if you keep reading for yourself, it's very difficult to read for other people because your energy is constantly on there. I've never personally found that necessarily to be true, but I understand that it does happen. I just cleanse my energy constantly, so I don't find that my cards really have my energy on them. But a simple way of doing that is either cleansing your cards with sage or Palo Santo, I think that's what it's called. Whatever saging incense will do it too. I know a lot of people use dragon blood, not dragon's blood, but dragon blood. It's not the blood of a dragon, but whatever it is that you use, you can either cleanse before or after. But the idea is to keep your energy on here, but before you actually go and work with other people, you always want to make sure that the cards are cleansed. So really get in touch with each and every card, and I want you to, and we're going to do that now. We're going to do this absolutely now. I really want you to get into the intuition, and your word here is flow. Now, we've set up our candle. Our masculine mind from day one, we know, has been switched into this receptive mode. It knows that we've set it up. We absolutely love the divine masculine and the masculine mind. But this is your intuitive time, your creative time, and your masculine mind knows that. So what I want you to do is start choosing. I always say that you pick, but the tarot or the oracle card chooses for you. And as you do that, you put all of your energy. Some people do this like real Vegas type shuffling, which is absolutely wonderful. I can't do it. The cards will go everywhere. However you do it and however fancy or non-fancy it is totally fine. As long as your energy is saturated on each and every one of the cards. And then I want you to choose one. Now this reading is for you. We're starting with us, a personal reading. Just choose one. Now, of course, I chose sex magic. Naturally, that's what I would do when I'm instructing other people. That would come up, right? I couldn't think of a better card. Thank you, universe. Just giving us a heads up and saying, always have a sense of humor, always have a little lightness in your heart. Don't take anything too seriously. This is this is not a card I would have picked for me right now to show you. So this is absolutely proof that every card that I pick is really from Spirit and not from me. So when you pick your card, no matter what it is, I really want you to allow the attitude of free flow coming in. And the first image, the first word, the first color, the first whatever it is that comes to you immediately, before your masculine mind comes in and says, hey, up, what's going on? I want you to write that down. I want you to write that down. And then I want you to actually go back further and think of what it's actually saying to you. So the actual interpretation. What is it actually saying to you? If you had like a sentence of this, trying to interpret this card, what would it be? So the first thing is really listening to the absolute first idea that comes in. Now, again, it could be a vision, it could be a thought, it could be a word, it could be a color, it could be a sense. But I want you to do your very best to really understand what that first thought was and capture it on paper, and then go back and see what your intuition is telling you about the interpretation of this card. Now, specifically, as you pull several other cards and you do the same thing, I want you to notice patterns, colors, thoughts, because your intuition is talking to you in a very specific way, and everybody's intuition talks to them very differently. When I'm channeling, I am shown certain aspects and certain things that have happened to me. I now know that Spirit is telling me through that this is happening to somebody else. You might get it through certain colors, like I have certain images. When that comes up, I know it means this. You may have a color blue means that. A color red means that. It's up to you now to start noticing these patterns, and there's always something with your intuition, because your masculine mind is trying to make sense of it. And the way it makes sense of it is it gives it a purpose. So again, a number might mean this, or this might mean nothing is particularly arbitrary. Now, it's not important for you to have a long list of, all right, this means that, this means that, this means that. Remember, this is about creativity, receptivity. We don't want you into the action of the masculine mind here. We just want you to be receptive and start noticing any patterns of intuitive thought that comes in every time you start reading for yourself and pick a card. So this is what I want you to do. We want you to do tonight and tomorrow before day 3, when we move on to simple oracle spreads. And we'll take this energy further. But I really want you to sit with the cards tonight. Get used to setting up your oracle space. Get used to working with your own intuition and start noticing these patterns. Now, don't overthink it. The worst thing you can do is overthink. Again, it's just a process of seeing if you can see any patterns at this point. The most important thing is that any information whatsoever that comes to mind as you put down an oracle card in front of you, with the intention of it giving you some information that you can use intuitively in your life, that you completely and 150% believe it. You allow that space to give you the information. You're not trying to infiltrate that information or try and make it make sense. This is about a free flowing attitude of information coming to you. Now, we're in the first stage of trying to make sense of those images and everything that's coming to you. But don't overdo it at this point. Just start noticing if there's any patterns. If there's no patterns at this point, you're exactly where you need to be. That's fine. But definitely start reading for yourself 3 or 4 cards at one time, which is really nice. It's always really nice to read for yourself one or 2 cards in the morning. But for the sake of this in day 2, I want you to read 3, 4, 5 cards, even up to 8 cards. So you can get used to reading them one after the other and start seeing and hearing. You might even hear voices about what information's coming to you, depending on what kind of like clairaudience, clairsentience, sense, smells, whatever comes up to you. I just want you to notice them without any judgment and start seeing if there's any patterns. Okay? And remember, after you've gotten to know whatever is in this beautiful deck, I barely use them, so whatever is in this pamphlet that it comes with, once you've absorbed the information, we're going to thank the original creators for the information, but this should not be anywhere near you when you are reading for yourself. I want it somewhere else. There's no temptation to go back to it. This is all about receptivity and allowing your intuition to take charge. So happy reading, one and all, my darlings, and we will come back here tomorrow on day 3, and we will move you further into your intuition, and we will be working with simple card spreads. All right, my darlings, you have a wonderful evening, a beautiful sleep, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.